So about a year ago, a friend gave me this gigantic vase. When he was a kid, he used it as an aquarium. So it's pretty scratched up, as you can see here, but who cares? And it's 60 centimeters high, 25 centimeters across. So if ChatGPT was correct, it can hold over 100 liters of water. So when I was walking in the woods the other day, I found this beautiful looking piece of, I think, birch that were just screaming to be put inside of a cylinder because it fits perfectly. Yes. And recently I took down my green basilisk enclosure where he had some beautiful rocks that I just found outside. The substrate I'll be using for this cylinder is a clay-based substrate. It's essentially burnt clay and it's packed with nutrients for the plants. And these rocks will work as a sort of substrate retainer. I wasn't really pleased with this scape, so off camera I came up with a much better one. Basically what I did is I put one rock there, and one rock behind it. One rock here and another one here. And then I super glued the branches back in places that I liked. So that's the hardscape done. Now we can move on to planting. I bought a light for the cylinder. Already put it on. This light is very cool. It has like a ring that you can screw down, so it kind of narrows down the light to one spot, and then as you go up the circle kind of widens. But now when I put the light on, I can clearly see that it's extremely scratched.
It's a little bit scratched up.
And I don't know if this is gonna bother me long term. But what I wanna do is to try fill it up with water and then see if I can still see the scratches. But before I fill it up with water, I'm gonna cover these cotton pads with just some crushed up dragonstone dust and some liquid super glue. Yeah, as you can see here, it wasn't enough gluing it down to the rocks. It didn't create a strong enough bond, and this is very saturated with air, so of course it floats. It's like a sponge in a bath. So what I need to do now is to drain the tank and start over. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but it's just extremely scratched and I just cannot work with it. I won't use it for an aquarium at least. Instead, I'm going to take this one. This is a cylinder that I set up way before I even started YouTube, but it has seen better days and now it's time to take it down. So I'm gonna try to save most of this moss. And now we can kind of see the waterfall behind it. I kind of like how it looks with the waterfall though. It has served me many years. Now it's time to say goodbye. Now we're exposing this background that is made out of expanding foam. Okay, so I've cleaned out the tank now as good as I can. I also had to carve the foam in order to fit the piece of wood. I just think that this looks much better. Other vase was way too scratched. The light is a bit yellow at the moment. It has 3 functions. This is more white, bluish. I think I'm gonna go with this one. At the moment this is not secured at all. I think if I just put a blob of silicone somewhere in the back, it will stay in place. I'm gonna put a big blob here. You like it, Mino? You like it? I'm so angry. I'm so angry. Why are you so angry? Now we just need to leave it like this overnight and then we're gonna start with the planting. I'm gonna reuse some of the aqua soil from the previous scape. And on top of that, we're gonna add this brown substrate. Just to make sure that there's enough nutrients, we're gonna add some nutrient capsules. It's been 24 hours and the silicone is fully cured. Now I just want to fill it up with water and see if the structure will hold. Okay, so we're filled up and we got this magnifying look. It's really magnified. So the plan is to have these two plants in the foreground. The Eleucarius acicularis and then this I would say that this is also an Eleucaris, but I'm not sure. They told me that this stays low and they send runners. I'm gonna put them together, kind of mix them up. So this will be like green carpet. And then we have to go over to the OG. And this is the OG shrimp tank. I went ahead and I bought new cardinia shrimp. I think these are Sakura shrimp. 5 of these, and I think they're all female. I'm not really sure how to sex shrimp. We also have some Limnophila sessiliflora. I don't think I'm gonna use the red plant. So I'm gonna use this Limnophila and the 2 plants that I have in the foreground. And I think that's it. Quick look at the black water tank. If you compare the water to how it was when I set it up, it's much more lighter now. I think I have to add some black water soon. I do have some shrimp in here, some yellow shrimp. I like how he's just chilling there in the bushes. I mean. But I went to the store and I bought 2 more shrimp that I think are male. So hopefully they'll breed and give me more shrimp babies. There's another one right there. Anyway, back to the cylinder. Now that we know that it doesn't float, I can drain out the water and we can get planting. I just love when that happens. Well, it's pretty clean water anyway. So the tank is now drained. Now let's go over to the table where we can prepare the plants. This Eleucaris has some liquid in it, I think, that we just need to wash out. And this, what I need to do here is I need to remove this rock wool carefully. They're already portioned here for me. Perfect. Let me get my tweezers. Let's go over to the tank. Okay, looking good. For this silicone blob, we don't want that to be visible, of course. I have some, I think this is Java moss, that I'm gonna attach here with some super glue. Generous amount here, and we just place that on top like that. We could go crazier with the planting, but I think I want to leave it simple like this and kind of see what happens over the period of 2 weeks. Just gonna add a few bits of salvinia. In no time this whole vase will be covered with floating plants. Let's take a step back and see what we have created. Yes! It looks amazing. We're gonna come back in 2 weeks and see how this looks like. And then perhaps we'll be ready to add a shrimp. Don't go anywhere. So it's been a couple of weeks since I set this thing up, and if we take a closer look, you can see down there, I don't know if you can see it, but the plant is kind of melting off. You can see that this stem is very pale and very gooey, and if you touch it, it will break. I have no idea why that is. So to combat that, I want to remove everything that is dead, replace it, and kind of start over. See? That plant just fell off. I barely even pulled it. I can just suck out the plant like that. I have no idea why that is. See, the whole plant just melted away. I have to remove this and clean it up. It kind of smells like cow shit in here. If you smell it, it really smells like cow shit. And I have no idea why. Okay, let's fill it back up. Again. Oh. So I filled the tank back up. I think the cause of the bad smell was lack of maintenance. I didn't do water changes. Since this is a filterless tank, I should have done water changes maybe not every day, but at least a few times a week. I just had a long week at work, so I was just lazy, I guess. I apologize to the plants that has suffered and died because I was lazy. I'm gonna give this a week and see what happens. So it's been about 3 weeks since I set up this tank. Since then I had some problems with an ammonia spike, but I fixed that now with water changes. I don't know about the hair grass. Some of it seems to be growing, some of it seems to be melting away. I'm gonna do a water change here and we'll see where we're at. There's full of copepods in the aquarium. I don't know if you can see that. I'm gonna do a little bit of cleaning off the glass. I have some diatom algae on the glass, which is normal. We're still in the startup phase. Let's fill up the tank again. So it's been 2 months now since I set up this tank. and we've had some success and we had some failure. Number one, the Limnophila sessiliflora is taking over. It's looking super good, but we can't really see the log anymore. The Salvinia is also taking over. I need to remove most of these. The dwarf Sagittaria is also carpeting, but the Eleucharis is dying. So today's task is to remove the Eleucharis, do a massive water change, trim the plants, and then I can call this a success. So to start, we're gonna remove most of these plants. Actually, I'm gonna remove all of them so we have some easier access. And by the way, I didn't add this nail. This nail came in with the plant somehow. What I'm gonna do is to trim this there, perhaps even these little guys over here. Sacre bleu, schlacke boom. Now we can see the log all of a sudden. As you can see here, the dwarf sag is carpeting. I only added a few stumps here and there, but now it's taking over. The sad thing though is that the Eleucharis is completely dead and I have to remove it. In order to get to the Eleucharis, I have to remove most of the water. So let's do a massive water change. So I'm now gently going to reach in here, simply pull out the dwarf Sagittarius. No, not the dwarf. Ah, it has rooted in. So I think it's using it as nutrient because it's dying off. I don't know if you can see it, but the roots are all black. I think it's super funny the way the glass magnifies the snail.